One of the most important questions you should be asking yourself when you're running a business is, what does success mean to you? What do you have to do to hit that successful target? This is the question we're going to ask in this video. When it comes to business, everyone has a very different view or feeling about what success actually means. For some people, success could be to be a millionaire within 2 years, to own the big house, the fast car, the boat. Some people, success may not have any kind of money value at all, and it could just be to survive and just do your own thing, be your own boss. Some people, when they run a business, have no intentions of making any profit whatsoever. In fact, a good friend of mine, Jessica White, and her partner Morton run a free developer conference in the UK called DDD East Midlands. Now, this is set up as a business. It's a limited company or a limited by liability company. But their goal isn't to earn profit or to make lots of money. Their goal is to get enough sponsorship into the company to enable them to put on a developer conference for free. So their measure of success isn't about being a millionaire or earning huge amounts of money, it's earning enough sponsorship to actually be able to run the conference. So I thought it'd be interesting to do is just to talk about what I view success as, because it really is a fundamental question to ask. If you don't know what success means to you, then you're not going to really be able to realistically run your business. Because if your goal is to be a millionaire within 2 years, then the way you're going to run your business, the amount of product or services you need to sell is significantly different to someone whose goal is to just earn enough to be able to work for themselves. So my goal when it comes to running a business isn't necessarily to be a millionaire. Now, if that happens and I have a massive stroke of luck, say millions of you go out and buy the Path to Freedom book when it comes out, great, I'm not going to turn it down. But that's not my actual goal. So my goal is to be able to continue doing what I love doing, which is making these videos, it's writing books, it's creating Pluralsight courses, it's creating Skillshare courses, it's going to conferences and doing public speaking and teaching live in-person workshops, which I'm hoping will become a thing more towards the end of 2021 again. So for me, earning loads and loads and loads of money isn't the goal. It's earning enough money that I can have money built up in the company to continue doing what I'm doing and to cushion me should there be any kind of lean times that could happen. So for me, my biggest fear, or to me what failure would look like, is having to go and get another job. So that to me would be failure. So before I quit my job, I had certain goals set in place that me and my wife both discussed before I resigned from my job. And that was to try and save nearly a year's worth of salary into the business. Now that sounds like quite a lofty goal, and obviously not everyone's going to try to do that or even be in a position to be able to do that. But I was creating Pluralsight courses part-time, as a hobby effectively. So I was earning fairly good royalties from that was building up over the years. And I also had a good job as a software development manager at a company on a good salary. So the money that I was earning from Pluralsight and some of the public speaking I was doing, I was just saving up into a bank account. So I wasn't really spending any of it, which is kind of a good position to be in. So what that meant was that when I did resign, I had a year's worth of buffer or runway in the business. So if anything should have gone wrong in that first year, I can keep on paying myself and not have to worry about having to go get another job straight away or go into contracting or consulting. So that was kind of my goal before I started the business. And then as I've been running the business, I've been trying to make sure that I do more courses, more content, so that I can earn more money to try and keep that buffer built up. And I try and keep it above a certain level so that it just gives me longevity. Now, when it came to the lockdowns of 2020, and even the lockdowns we're in now in the UK, at the time it was a big unknown. I had no idea whether people were going to continue watching courses or not. It's just a big unknown. So I kind of prepared myself for the worst. I thought, well, maybe people are going to stop watching because they've got homeschooling to do and more things that they're being more important at the time. So I was actually expecting things to go down, but whilst I was nervous about that, I also felt comfortable because I knew that I had the buffer saved up. So for me, my main goal is to always make sure I've got a buffer in the business, earn enough money that it covers all of my expenses and pays my salary and gives me enough to save. And that's kind of what's most important to me. Now, I'm not a really materialistic person by any stretch, so I don't drive, so I don't own a fast car. We just have one, fairly boring family car. We live in a fairly regular house. I've got no intentions of going out and buying a huge house. It just doesn't interest me. Don't like boats, not into motorbikes. I don't really buy that many big extravagant things. So probably the most extravagant things I do use are the computers I use in the business, but the business owns them, not me. So So that's kind of my goal. So that kind of helps steer me into how much work I need to do and where I need to put my focus. So if I know that Pluralsight's bringing in a certain amount of money, which is keeping the business afloat, and along with Skillshare and other courses that I do, it means that I can do more projects that I have to work at a risk. Now, the Path to Freedom book, I've been working on that for nearly 2 years. I did take a break last year because it was just too much to think about during the first lockdown. But you know, I'm not being paid to write that book. I'm going down the self-publishing route. I've actually set up a publishing company to do this. So I've not been paid in advance, and it's all completely work that's done at risk. Hell, no one might buy it, you know, that's a definite risk. But because I know that I have a buffer built up in the business and that I'm very careful with money, I can actually go and work on some of these other projects which do pose more of a potential financial risk. Now, someone whose goal is to be a millionaire within 2 years might not embark on a project like that. You know, they might think, well, spending 2 years working on something that may or may not make any money, to them might seem completely ludicrous. But to me, it makes sense because I know that all my needs elsewhere are satisfied. I keep producing courses. I mean, at the time I'm writing this or recording this video here, I've actually just signed a new contract with Pluralsight to produce a course. So I keep all that going, but it also allows me the freedom to work on things that I want to work on, which are more like passion projects. A passion project which maybe, hopefully, will turn into a business, or it may not. We'll see. So really is the key message of this video. It's when you start a business, even if you're running it part-time whilst working for someone else, is work out what's important to you. You know, if you want the money, you want the fast car, you want the house, and you want to, go on Twitter and flex to everyone about what you've achieved, that's fine. That's your decision. But to get to that level, you're going to have to sell a lot of products with a good profit margin quite quickly, which may or may not be achievable. If your goal is more like mine, which is a bit more kind of reserved, and it's about making sure you have enough money to survive, support your family, and give you longevity so you don't have to get another full-time job, also, the amount of products or courses I need to sell is different to what someone whose goal to be a millionaire is. So it's very important to actually know what it is you want. When you form a business, it isn't just about necessarily building the product. It's like, what do you want as the business owner to be your success measures? So if you find that useful, please click like. It'd be really interesting actually if you can let me know what your success measures are, if you're happy to share them. And if you've had success, or if you've had any issues hitting some of those goals, it'd be really good if we can get some dialogue going. Also, if you enjoy this content, if you could hit subscribe and a little bell icon, that just helps. Well, it helps me, and it also helps you by being notified when new videos come out. So with that, I'll see you next time.